Hello everybody and welcome back to 100% Clueless. I'm Kyle and I'm all by myself today. Again. Yeah, as I stated in the in the last episode, a few of our audio files got messed up, so I'm gonna have to be dubbing them over. Not that big of a deal. But, you know how it is. Sorry if you hear stuff in the background. It sounds like, PG&E decided to do some road work today. Of course, they weren't doing it yesterday. Because, of course, they would start the day that I need to do this. But, whatever. So, yeah, it's always hard to do these when it's just myself. I actually thought Joe would have a lot harder of a time with this when we were recording. But he actually did pretty well. As much shit as I give him. But I really like this part of the game. I like the part where Scarecrow shows up because it's always fun, He's always got this interesting shtick going on. Just with the whole fear thing, and it actually took me a few tries. Not on this one, I don't think. I think it's the next one that I had some problems on when it came to Scarecrow. So I do believe the second one is much more difficult. That's, I think, where what would have got me caught. This part right here, when he's looking for you, when he's looking for the sound at the wall. Yeah, I think that probably would have got me caught when I played. So I'm surprised I didn't get him caught. I also love the use of the bat signal here, where we see an unconventional use for it, where it becomes, how he breaks through his fear, which makes a lot of sense because he works through his fears by being Batman. But
can you hear me? Bruce, what's going on?
And yeah, like I said last time, I do love how they use Scarecrow as, the whole fear for people as Batman is fear for criminals. It's a good dichotomy. Now, having said that, is he Batman's best villain? Well, no. To be fair, I think a case could be made for most of Batman's villains, not villains, what even are villains? But, me personally, I do believe that the Joker is his best villain, and I think most people would agree. There's a reason he's stuck around as long as he has. Now, he really needs to learn how to do the ground takedown. Yeah. Alright. So, in terms of this game, it's a lot of fun, but I'm trying to think of ways to make it better. Even better. But I guess I shouldn't, because I haven't played any really of the other Batman games. I've played City, but I haven't beat it. And I haven't played Origins or Night, so they probably improved upon the formula even more. Plus, there's Spider-Man, which people are saying are even better, and it's basically the same game, just, Spooderman, and a lot less hiding in the shadows. So I wonder... So I heard that this game was sort of like a test for like a Justice League game. Like, they were throwing around the idea that, hey, this, idea could work. And, thinking about that, I wonder how different versions of with the different heroes would play like. Superman, I think, would be the toughest one because he's Superman. How do you make a game around Superman that balances him well enough against regular enemies that you aren't just beating everyone to a pulp? All right, now this section is pretty difficult when you first try it. The whole taking people out without anyone seeing you is difficult. But he actually gets through this pretty well for Joe. And a lot of times I get the impression that he's not even trying, you know what I mean? But I think that's just because I only see him play this, like once a week or once every few weeks, depending upon how many episodes we have stacked up. So I can't really blame him too much, but it's still, Of course, we also have to ruin the the atmosphere of the game because we have to turn the brightness way the hell up just so we can see the damn game. And that is one thing about this one and Arkham City for me personally, is that the games are just so, just dark. And they're not the only games to suffer that sort of thing. I get that sort of thing with Morrowind and Fallout New Vegas a lot too, where the game's just too dark and I have to bump the brightness a lot just to play them. But this time it's not even really to play the game, it's more of just the capture device, for whatever reason, just comes in so much darker. So when we record, we have to bump up the brightness a lot just so we can see it properly on the capture. Which is unfortunate for this game because it, relies on the whole aspect of he's hiding in shadows, he's hiding in the dark. And here he just looks like he's attempting to hide in a bright ass room, and it looks really silly when they don't see him. You know what I mean? It looks like they're all just like, yeah, he's over there, but I'm just gonna let him have this. There's no reason to tell him that I see him. He's Oh man, that comes with this unfortunate scenario where Batman's actually fake this whole time, and everyone's just been faking making him look important. You know what I mean? Like all the dead guards in this are actually fake and placed there. That was actually a really good. I don't think it was an Elseworlds story, but it was sort of this extra side story. I think it was titled Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusader or something like that. And or it was just titled The Death of Bruce Wayne. It had a pretty decent title, but essentially what the idea is that it was just, how did Batman die? And one of the ideas was, in its alternate universe, Batman, Bruce Wayne, needed to create Batman in order to, escape the trauma that he'd been enduring his whole life. But instead of there being actual villains for him to fight, he realized that he was, starting to realize that he couldn't actually fight crime as Batman. It was this wouldn't work in real life scenario. But Alfred actually decided to hook up with his old theater troupe to make it easier on Master Bruce, so he thought he was actually, doing good. With, Alfred himself dressing up as the Joker to be his, ultimate foil. The way that he dies in this reality is that the guy who plays Riddler, one of the theater troupe who and decided to play Hitler, or not Hitler, Riddler. Oh god, that would be even worse. Hire a guy to play Hitler. No, the guy who played Riddler lost his head and actually thought he was the Riddler. You know, he believed in his persona so thoroughly that he believed himself to be the enemy of Batman, you know, which is why it would be even worse if he thought he was Hitler. But he decided that he was going to, you know, when Batman came to stop him, he was like, no, you can't stop me, I'm the Riddler, and he ends up shooting that version of Batman. And look, Joe did it. He beat up Harley Quinn. And saved Gordon. Yay! Of course, I think this leads to another Batman villain that a lot of people like. Although I personally never really enjoy. He's not awful. He's just not really one that it's just not really one that resonates with me personally. And that would be, wait for it. Wait for it. And it's Bane. Yeah. A lot punier Bane, you know. Yeah. This also paints the whole idea that, you know, it's not that Arkham is necessarily 100% good. You know, the staff and stuff, like Dr. Young there was testing on Bane to create a better form of Venom, or at least in this case, a different form of Venom. Created Titan instead. And I like that, because it paints not only the villains as being bad guys, but potentially just the regular, everyday-ass people in Arkham as bad guys. So, you know how Joe basically just did that whole, don't get spotted, or else Harley will kill, Gordon thing? You know, he basically did that flawlessly. Well, it doesn't go so well with Bane, at least the first time. Because he just... oh, he just stood there and took it. He's just like, I'll figure it out myself. And that goes about as well as anyone would have predicted. But, yeah, Bane's never really been one of my favorite villains. I can see why people like him. It's just not... I just don't necessarily like him for that. For those reasons either. Never really liked the whole Mexican wrestler persona. Also the very obvious like drug addiction analogy. It just never really resonated with me. Though he is the man that broke the bat. So I can see why he has a fan base. Oh yeah, this is just Joe struggling to figure out a boss fight. He never figured out how to fight the Titan guy at the beginning. And this is where the game is just like, hey, dumbass. This is how you do it. Not like that. There you go. See, you did it like that. And down he goes. Well, with that, guys, that makes an episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with people. Favorite it in your hearts. And we will see you guys on the next episode of 100% Clueless. Yeah. Bye.